Incoming transmission.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first transmission of the Outpost Nerd. Don't you love my intro? It's just so fun. I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
I
We'll
love
have
it.
to teach you how to use it a little different so that way you actually get the full screen.
Yeah. Well, this is my first transmission. I was supposed to start about an hour ago, but due to technical difficulties, it's my first time.
Just boomering through the night. Nothing big. It's
I
okay.
am a bigger boomer than Nick the Nose Ricada. I want me talk.
They say boomering is like an age thing or whatever, but at the same time, it seems as though the terms changed recently, where they're like, "Oh, boomer's more of like somebody that's just slightly older than yourself that doesn't know how to use the technology." Well, as many people as I've watched try doing a YouTube live stream with any software, everybody has some kind of an issue and screws up something, does something strange, quote unquote, boomers their way through something. You wouldn't be the first one. You probably won't be the last.
Oh, I emailed Yellow Flash the other day. I said, "Y'all on Flash Class make this look easy. It is a lot more than I thought it was." I've heard streamers and YouTubers for years saying, you're seeing just a little bit of what we do. You don't realize the hours and hours we put in trying to make this work for you. But,
it's very difficult. I mean, when he says hours and hours, because I'm a single man operation just as well as you are, and raising a child at the same time, so I can only do certain things when he allows me to do them. I seriously screwed around with YouTube, with StreamYard, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, all the way to this Restream. I use Restream a little bit more often than I use any, so I actually pay for the service on it, so that way I get a few extra little features. And it takes so much to do whatever. I mean, for me to do a show tonight, it was I guess I'm just gonna do an open chat tonight at midnight, Central Standard Time, because I'm like, well, if I don't set something up or whatever, I would have to actually go and do the work, and I am the king of the show. This is my show. I hope he comes back. We'll just sit here until he comes back. Oh, looks like he's stumbling back in the room. You can find me at almost anywhere. You can go to a linktree/coolfrog. That's KOOLFROGG. I'll just sit here and show myself out until he actually comes back in the room completely. Maybe he's back. I mean, it kind of looks like he's back, but at the same time, it looks like he's not. I'm guessing he's having some computer issues. Which is kind of normal to have computer issues when trying to do, some kind of live stream or whatever. That being said, I did a couple streams or whatever where I tried crashing an old Windows 7 machine, and I actually got it to actually crash the first night. We went to attempt to crash it the second night, and we failed to actually crash the computer a second time. You can always check those out. You can go to my YouTube page. That's I think if you actually look up Cool Frog, spell it KOOLFROGG, you should actually be able to find me. And you see this little orange little head or green little head on this orange background. That's exactly what it is. That's me. I do lots of stuff. Been trying to do lots of stuff. I got an actual day job now, though. So, I mean, or whatever. It's overnight. So, I don't stream as much as I was. We are going to do something tonight, though. Let's see if he comes back. Are you back?
I think so. I think so.
He's back. He's back.
I live out in the country, and I'm starting to really feel like Ricada now.
It's okay. I was just sitting there showing myself out, telling people to go check out me.
Oh, yeah, using me as free publicity, huh?
I think that's what everybody does when they get control of the show. They're like, it's my show. You can find me here. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. The thing I don't like about it is just like people in chat like, hey, go check out so-and-so. I'm like, hey, you're not on this show. Don't do that. If you're a guest, that's fine. I told a buddy of mine, I'm like, don't go on this channel and start saying, hey, let's go watch so-and-so. I'm like, that'll piss off a streamer. You really want to piss off a streamer?
It can piss off a streamer when somebody else is like trying to show their own stuff or whatever. But at the same time, if they pay you for it,
yeah, see, that's the difference when you give them money.
Right. When they pay you for it, they're like, hey, I'm going to give this guy $10 and I'm going to go put something on his buymeacoffee.com/coolfrog. And, he's going to go and he's going to read it later and he's going to respond back to me live.
I watch a Twitch stream.
Put your little site on the bottom side of whatever, and I'll totally read off the site.
I was watching a Twitch streamer. Her boyfriend's a real popular YouTuber, and people would go onto her show and start asking about him. So she finally made it a rule: don't ask me about him. This is my stream.
That would be upsetting. It'd be very
stream right now. But getting back to our boomer talk. Everything's so connected nowadays. Like you get your TVs. If your internet goes out, you got that bundle. Your TV's bundled with your internet and phone and all that. One thing goes out, it's all gone. So that's what happened to me just now. But, yeah, I was gonna give a little review of. I know you said you didn't know much about Star Trek. But just Thursday, the first episode.
I am probably one of those. I'm seriously very little Star Trek in me. Like I watched a little bit of it back in the. I'm 45. So I mean, I watched a little bit of it back in my younger years or whatever.
Yeah.
Growing up or whatever, as they, put it on the TV. And I'm talking watching cable to watch Star Trek, and I've had cousins that were super Trekkies. I think one of my brothers was kind of he always did some weird things, some Stardate whatever, blah blah blah.
See, yes, numbers. A Stardate is in the future. They don't use the Gregorian calendar like we do now. They don't have January through December. Gene Roddenberry wanted to be futuristic and create a whole new calendar. So it would be Stardate 27.3569, and that was the date supposedly like by how the stars were positioned or something like that. Sure. It was supposed to be gibberish, but as time went on and when Next Generation came on in the 80s and 90s was, to me, the golden age of Star Trek. You had at least 4 shows on. It was on from, I want to say, 86 to 2003. It was all Star Wars. There was 4 different Star Wars shows. And it slowly, it started taking a meaning. And by like the current calendar, Star Trek Picard is set just after what years? It's the 25th century. And see what year it's set in. It's 2401. So it's about 300 years in the future. And
300 years in the future, and they're assuming that we're just going to be flying around in rockets and stuff. And
Well, remember, our grandparents thought we'd have jetpacks and flying cars by now. Just looking Back to the Future.
Right. You go Back to the Future, whatever, and you look at how that was actually made. And you're like, yeah, no, nothing even close to what they were actually assuming.
I had tons of friends. I was in college on the day that Marty and Doc was supposed to arrive from the past, and I had friends with like Marty McFly future hats and dressed up as the characters walking around through the college I was going to at the time. And but see, Picard, Patrick Stewart, of course, is back as Picard, and we see him as an old man. He's retired. He's not in Starfleet anymore. He's back in the house he grew up in, and you really see. I guess it'd be fair to call him a bitter old man, and he just plays with his vines all day. He makes wine. He's got this is Chateau Picard this is his home where he makes his wine. His family's done it for centuries.
Interesting.
Because it's not the same Picard that we saw in Next Generation, who was the noble explorer who very straight-laced, very stiff-backed, almost like a gentleman explorer from like the 1400s that we saw in Napoleon. But now we see this bitter, broken, depressed old man who wants to be useful, and he's not. Since he left Starfleet, he doesn't feel useful. And through season 1, he meets new people. Now in season 2, which I want to really focus on season 2, because this past Thursday, season 2, episode 1 just came out, which in season 2 we see him. He accomplished with the accomplishment of his goal in season 1, which was to take a robot woman, basically take a robot woman back to her home, find and save her from people who wanted to kill her. So he did all that. He's back home. It's the episode. It starts with the end of that current growth season, and I really liked how they showed how farming had evolved over the centuries. Instead of picking it by hand, you have these flying. I don't know how the flying platforms. And here's a picture of one watering the vines, and you see how the countryside. You had the big skyscraper thing. You're not really told what that is back there. And in episode 1 of season 2, you see him picking it, and they actually use transporters to pick them right off the vine. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Did the string go out again?
No, I'm listening to you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're the one that knows stuff about this. This is not where I'd be talking about.
Oh, you're fine. I love telling new people about this. You see, there's another part where he uses like holographic technology to label the holographic transporting technology to actually draw and create labels for the for all the bottles. It's I think you'd like it if you watched it. But Picard now he's the I think they called him a chancellor.
I can see myself maybe trying to watch stuff, whatever. I really seriously I know it's horrible to actually to feel the way I do about certain types of genre of you know movie whatever.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes down to it, what screwed me up was the never ending story. That stupid flying dog.
Falcor the Wish Dragon, yeah.
That stuff, that's what screwed me up for not liking a certain genre of movie or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't really pay attention to Star Trek or Star Wars or anything even remotely close to anything like that. It's just not my interest.
Yeah, I could see where you're coming from. I do. It's like there was I don't remember when it came out. I think early 2000s, late Mars Attacks. Have you ever heard of that movie?
Yeah.
Those aliens. To this day, I will still get, if I see a picture of them, I will still get a chill down my spine. They're just creepy with that huge bulbous brain. It just and like skull like face. They're just creepy. Just a movie I cannot watch to this day. So I can see where you're coming from, but this is vastly.
I get that feeling from watching Arachnophobia.
I watched about 10, 20 minutes of that movie and just walked out. One of only two movies I've ever walked out on. The other one was I Love You, Beth Cooper. Luckily, I went to our little dollar theater to watch it in our mall, and I only spent $1 to go see it, so I had no problem walking out. Because me and my friends, that's one thing we did a lot growing up. We'd go to the movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Going to the movies is totally a thing.
And
a lot of movie watching.
There was another movie called 3:10 to Yuma. It's that Western.
Oh yeah.
It's the only movie I can ever remember thinking. I sat the whole time watching it because I had some friends with me. I sat there thinking, I'd rather be at home right now.
Doing almost anything right now.
I think maybe it was I just gotten off an 8-hour shift at the grocery store me and my friends worked at.
Sure.
So I'm like, I'd rather be at home sleeping right now. And then I made a mistake of forcing two of my buddies who are really kind of butch outdoor guys to go see Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern with me. I'm sitting there,
You're
got
like,
my head
sorry, guys.
I'm sitting there watching it, leaning on my on the armrest, head in my hand, and I'm like, they're gonna kill me.
Leaning on my buddy's shoulder. Sorry, dude. I gotta fall asleep.
Another buddy of ours, we went and saw what was that Seth Rogen apocalyptic movie. This is the end. And the guys behind us, they just kept making comments.
That was awesome.
It's like when the demon comes out, the giant demon comes out at the end, and the guy behind us, he was straight faced. He wasn't being facetious or anything. He was just looking up. He said, "That's the second biggest dick I've ever seen." All of us in the row in front of him, we started cracking up. That was.
And then you looked over your shoulder at the girl that was sitting there, and you're like, "Uh-huh."
But it was our thing to do. After the hurricane, we lost 2 of the 3. We had four, including the movie theaters in our town. We lost 2 of them after Hurricane Michael, and so
that's horrible.
We had one out on the beach, it's one of those big, huge ones with the arcades. And I remember going to see Pirates of the Caribbean, the 3rd one there, because the theater had just opened. My buddy gets up and walks away, comes back with a hot dog, pizza, and nachos. I looked over and I'm like, "You can get those at a movie theater?" Because It's one of those huge. It's 16 screen theaters. It's awesome, but it costs so much more to go there.
I'm being hollered at. I gotta walk away
Go-
for a second.
You're good. Getting back to Picard, y'all. It was good seeing a happy Picard again. It was good to see cannon ships, especially the Stargazer. Oh wow, the Stargazer, the new Stargazer. I will say this: the new Stargazer was really, really good looking. The oh no. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. Oh no.
He's the reason why I stream at midnight usually.
Can you hear me still?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Because my browser's freezing up on me,
Oh, that's horrible.
so I might go out if it crashes. But with the first season, we have.
What are you trying? Are you trying to share a screen? Is that what you're trying to do?
I was trying to share a screen.
So why don't you go and throw that screen in my Discord, in my general?
Because
I
my
can't
browser is freezing up, and I can't share it.
Can't share it. Okay. Otherwise, if you could, just go and throw that link at me or whatever. I'll see if I can't share it for you. Split some of the resources.
Oh, talk about chaos on the first screen. Oh, this pissed me off, man. I'm going to try closing my browser, and hopefully that doesn't mess anything up too bad.
Closing your browser?
Because my browser's frozen up.
Okay. You just having major issues.
Yeah.
I got you.
Maybe 8 o'clock wasn't the best time to stream, because sometimes this happens living out far as I do.
It's really dependent. I mean, there's a lot of goes into, and it's back to just me. So we're supposed to be talking about Picard. I like I told him, I don't know much about Picard. I really don't. I've never really paid attention to it. I've never really thought that it was something interesting. I know there's an awful lot of people out there that just love this stuff. So, that's awesome. That's great. I'm glad that there's people out there that have actually found a passion for something such as Patrick Stewart. I mean, cool guy. Cool guy. Yeah, I don't know if what Nerd's working with for a system. Uh, you do have to have a little bit of a system to actually run a show. Usually, two screens is preferable. That way, you can actually get your second screen uh, available for certain uh, types of graphics or whatever that you're trying to show. Um, Usually gives you enough space. Some of these other guys that have been doing this forever, they got like 3 or 4 monitors. They're not just looking at just a camera. They got a lot going on in front of them. That's why he's saying if you're trying to be a YouTube sensation, it takes a lot of work. It doesn't. It's not just I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to do this.
I'm back.
He's back.
God, this sucks.
I was just kind of telling the people about some of the basics of trying to run a channel.
Yeah,
It really takes a lot of resources to do anything. And I'm not just talking, computer resources. I'm talking personal resources. When it comes down to it, you really have to know what you're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
Have some, backup, some receipts to go along with what you're talking about. And on top of needing a computer that actually can, run.
Yeah, I'm thinking might be at the limits of my computer with this.
I was just, I was telling him, I'm like, minimums, usually at least 2 screens.
Yeah, I'm on one single laptop.
Yeah, that's not enough.
Yeah, so
that's not enough. Even when I was trying to run it off, I was telling him about my a couple weeks ago trying to crash that Windows 7 laptop.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right? So I was trying to crash that laptop. I actually was able to do most of the show. I was just unable to actually share screens until I actually connected it to another monitor. Once I connected it to a second monitor, I was able to easily, share. So I mean, it's really something. It's just a lot of work.
I have an old monitor.
Much time.
I have another old monitor, but it's not compatible with my laptop.
Oh,
it's
just
the only cord
HDMI cable is like nah.
No, it has one of those. I can't remember. Can't remember what it's called. The ones where you have to screw the sides into it.
Oh, you got one of those.
This is an old screen. So, like when I
Folks, we're talking going back into the 90s, early 2000s.
It's flat screen, so it's early mid 2000s. Dude, I remember all that. I remember TVs when they were like 2 feet thick. I was little at the time, so I grew up during the transition from like VHS to DVDs.
Okay, yeah.
So I remember one time, me and my friends, we were walking to a nearby McDonald's in high school one day. We found
My parents had 8-track players, so I mean,
yeah, we found an 8-track on the side of the road, and my dad still has his set up and everything. He loves his stereo, but it's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
Stereo. These kids these days, they don't know what they're actually missing.
See, my class of my senior year, it was right before. It was literally less than a year later, after I graduated, iPhones came out. I graduated in 2006, and the first iPhone came out in 2007, I believe. So we didn't have cell phones. Our teachers didn't have problem with cell phones in class.
And to give you to age you is I graduated in '96.
Jeez, I was
We
9.
we had no clue what a cell phone was other than what Zach Morris had.
Yeah, my dad had one of those.
You
My dad, who's been a pilot my entire
don't know
life,
who
had a
Zach
brick
Morris
phone.
is. You should do some, look up Zach Morris and watch Saved by the Bell.
Okay, Zach Morris was a mutant. He could be the X-Men. Now hear me out. What other high school kid could freeze time?
Oh yeah, right. Exactly. He could freeze time. It was pretty cool.
They did a sequel and it was horrible. Zach is like the governor of California now. Kelly's married to him. So they're still together.
Is this Zach Attack?
No, this is Saved by the Bell. There's a new series. I think it's on Peacock or Paramount Plus. One of those channels. I haven't watched it. But what was the other girl's name? There was Zach, Kelly,
The
Slater.
Elizabeth Berkley chick.
Yeah,
Ugh,
she was like a counselor at
fucking
Bayside.
nasty.
Slater is the gym teacher,
Well,
and they killed off Screech because what happened with Destin Diamond,
right.
and
They had to kill him off. They had no choice.
I don't remember what
He went to prison or something for some shit that he did.
I think it was drug related, but he got in a fight, and I think he got stabbed in a bar fight.
There
That's
was
how he died.
something. There was something.
But
Do I need to try looking him up real quick? See what it was?
no, you're good. I'm gonna bring up a little bit about Picard and just one thing they've been.
I tried talking about Picard for a few seconds while you were out.
Yeah, it's fine.
I told him everything I knew about him.
Let's try sharing this screen again. See if it doesn't kill. It shouldn't. No, it shouldn't. This is what I specifically called Starfleet's take on the roulette wheel. This was Picard's first ship called the Stargazer. And here is the Stargazer for Picard. You see, it's a much better. This is the difference between model work and CGI. The thing in Picard, in this episode of Picard, one of the main characters was another disgruntled Starfleet officer named Rios, who owns his little I guess you could call he's sort of a Han Solo like character. In regards, he has his own little freighter ship that Picard befriends and hires him for. He becomes captain. He joins Starfleet again and becomes captain of the new Stargazer. So he's kind of taken over part of Picard's legacy. This is one thing I really liked. You can see how Starfleet really doesn't change their designs very much. You see the specific saucer section. See you could tell. I think you show anyone this character, novice or someone who had very little like you, Star Trek. You could tell this is from Star Trek. If I showed you this picture out of the blue.
I mean, it'd probably be a good guess.
And
at the most, I really wouldn't know.
But this show compared to the first season, I'm looking forward to the second season a lot more, and I give the first episode a solid maybe B+. Now I don't give it, or B-, I should say, because there's some character choices I didn't like of Picard. One thing is their choice to make him come from an abusive home. We're seeing, because one thing we're seeing a lot more now, since the show focuses on pretty much on Picard and his past, his parents fought a lot. And it changes his whole character, from the regal explorer to the battered child who joined the military to get away from his abusive father. And so they basically kind of retconned almost 40 years of stories in just one scene acting choice of Picard's, and it really tainted the character for me almost. It just changed him so much in that little reveal. And you see a lot more of his flaws in this series, which I think takes away from Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Wars. Oh my God, I'm going to get crucified for that. Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek. Oh my God, take my nerd card away and rip it up in front of me. I do not deserve it after that.
You got somebody that has no clue what he's talking about, and he's like, oh shit, what did I just do?
Oh God, that's gonna be like
no clue what he just did, but apparently it's.
I said Gene Roddenberry, who created Star Trek. I said Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Wars.
You've said this a couple times tonight. You said Star Wars as opposed to Star Trek.
Oh my God!
It just kind of makes me wonder if you actually seriously that much of it.
I watched a couple of episodes of Star Wars Rebels earlier today.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
You know what? That kick button's starting to look good. Oh my God! I hope
Have you tried the kick button before?
No.
No.
It's pretty self-explanatory. Removed from stream. But I might have to.
You're okay, man. You're okay. This is episode 1.
Yeah. So, like I
you
said,
have to remember that. You go back and watch anybody's episode 1 if it's still out there.
I was watching one of my favorite streamers. His name's Big Jiggly Panda. He does video games. He does GTA, Minecraft, all sorts of different PUBG. He started back in the day, and he went back and reacted to his first video in a reaction video a couple of months ago. And he's like, I can't believe I thought this was good, because he signs off. And in this 10 seconds of dead air, he comes back and he's like, oh, I got to tell y'all one more thing. Penis. And he just gets off. Just ends the stream right there. And he's like, he's sitting there laughing and wheezing. He's like, I cannot believe I thought that was good. But as I was saying, Gene Roddenberry had this idea of a future that was on Earth nearly a utopia. His idea was there was no financial system. People had evolved beyond the need to be paid. We didn't have really borders anymore. It was almost like it was paradise on Earth is what he thought it would be. And he wanted really that to shine through all the episodes, all the series. But as time gone by, we've seen with different writers and different ideas, we've kind of seen that coming back as not being true. Picard says in one episode, he's asked, how much did all this cost, talking about the Enterprise? He's like, we've evolved beyond currency. But then they start talking about in other shows, Federation credits. It didn't make any sense. And then now we're seeing, they still have typical marriage problems in the 24th century. That just seems like it went way off the rails from Roddenberry's first ideas and dreams about the future. That 300 years later, we're still having these little problems. And I just don't like that. I was hoping for that this season they would keep a little more.
I'll be a few minutes.
You're fine. I'll talk to the stream, talk to the ether. I was hoping they would more stick with Roddenberry's ideas, but we don't. I think we're close, but we're not quite back to what he wanted. One thing I did like about Picard is we're seeing more of parts of the Earth. We're seeing, like we saw Boston in season 1, and now in this one we got to see Los Angeles. When he went and saw Guinan, we're seeing more of daily life in the Federation and not the almost idealistic look that we see in Starfleet. In Starfleet, I guess you could say you had the best of the best. They were trained to keep their emotion. They were the military. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I believe Starfleet is a military organization. It's peacekeepers. It's more of a military organization than people would let on. It's exploration. That's their main thing. But who does the Federation call when they're in there's trouble? They call the Starfleet Senate. They call Starfleet. It's a space navy, for lack of a better word. It's a space navy. I know that it's not their first main objective to be military, but sorry, folks, it is. And I'm happy we're actually seeing more outside of that, of Starfleet. And one thing I noticed too, this shows how much Picard has been away from Starfleet, how long it's been since he's been on a bridge of a starship. The scene where he and Seven arrive on the bridge of the Stargazer, Rios sees him, and as is custom, he calls out Admiral on the bridge, and everyone jumps to attention. Rios and Picard give their little greeting, and it's almost a full 10 seconds before Picard realizes, oh, wait, I need to let them go at ease. That, to me, shows how long he's been away from a Starfleet bridge. It was just a nice little touch, saying, telling people, telling the audience that he has to get back into the swing of things. And it was just a nice little character and acting choice that I noticed. You back? Guess he's not quite back yet.
No, I'm back. I changed the shit diaper.
I'm kind of happy I don't have kids right now.
I
can barely take care of myself.
They're awesome. It's just exactly. Don't have kids when you're a kid.
Yeah. Well, I'm not quite a kid, but I'm just not ready for kids.
I'm talking to your audience.
Yeah. Don't have kids until if you're a kid.
You're like, oh, it felt good. Yeah, it does feel good. I get that. But I'm telling you.
Wow.
It's
the birds and the bees and Picard.
It's not worth it yet. Wait.
But yeah, I was just explaining just a little bit more of my views on it. But I've overall, and I think you'd enjoy it.
Could you imagine Picard trying to talk to you about the birds and the bees?
Oh, that man, the character is so unlucky in love. It is ridiculous. Like he has an alien maid.
Doesn't he try having a girlfriend several times?
Oh, he has had love nowhere near as much as Kirk, who went around screwing anything with any alien space babe he could. But he's had his share of love's interest, and that's one thing I think is going to be a theme over this season. Is he has a alien maid.
Okay, hold on. You say season? This is like a brand new thing. Like they're doing another.
Yeah, this is season 2 of Picard.
You gotta be kidding me right now.
This is season 2.
Like how? Like they're like currently doing this?
Yeah, the first episode premiered Thursday, and I watched it. And I think every Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know.
Can't you come up with anything new?
See, yeah, that's what a lot of people. Oh, I saw. Can't remember what.
I mean,
it was. Yeah, but yeah, it's either comic books or sequels or remakes nowadays.
I mean, I get it. I mean, imagination something.
Yeah, it's.
You have to.
I remember right after I got out of college,
be all woke and shit.
Yeah, I remember right after I got out of high school, there was about 6 or 7 years where it was all because of Twilight. Every teen book that Hollywood could get their hands on.
Disgusting.
Every teen book that Hollywood could get their hands on.
Stewart to an X.
Yeah. They did. There was a book series that I really liked called Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I don't know if you ever heard about it. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah.
Those movies were awful.
I mean, I do have several children.
Oh yeah. So it was the only book that I love Greek mythology, so I was all over that. That's my favorite bit of mythology. So I read every single one of the Percy Jackson books. I have every one of them now. My friend gave them to me when his mom passed away. She had collected them all. So when she passed away, he gave them all to me.
Nice.
It was the only book I can remember sitting there reading and laughing, especially when he meets Hades for the first time.
Laughed?
Yeah, because
you're sick.
When he meets Hades, he says he describes Hades as, this is what a god should look like. Big, giant, scary looking. But then he describes his robes as being made of souls. And Percy's ADD kicks in, and he thinks to himself, what do you have to do that's so bad in your life to have your soul sewn into Hades' underwear? And I started laughing. It was so funny. I mean, just the way that Rick Riordan describes the gods. I loved how he described Zeus and Poseidon. Zeus wore this pinstripe suit, smelt of ozone, and had a love for reality TV. Poseidon is your typical surfer bum. His throne is a deep sea fisherman's chair. He has a Hawaiian shirt on, khaki shorts, and sandals. And on where the pole would go, where the pole would go in the chair is where he keeps his trident. And it was a funny. I love that book series, but the movies were so awful. They took every thing that was charming from the books and just did away with them. But yeah, I don't. The only reason I went and saw the last Twilight movie was because my girlfriend at the time wanted to go see it.
Yeah, likely story.
No, literally, I told her, I said, I will go see this with you if you go see The Hobbit with me when it comes out. They came out around the same time, the first Hobbit movie and the last Twilight movie.
So what? I don't remember. Were you Team Edward?
I was Team Guy that almost hit Bella with a car.
What was it? What was the other name?
Team Edward and Team Jacob.
Oh, Jacob. Yes.
Take my man card away from me now. Ugh. I was literally.
So there's a couple of reasons to actually take away Nerd's man card tonight.
Shut up.
Let's see if we can't come up with a couple more.
I lose my nerd card by getting Star Wars and Star Trek confused. And I lose my man card for admitting I went to see the Twilight movie. I actually saw the second one too, because once again, the girl I dated wanted to go see it.
Well, I mean, I was with some woman at the time. I'd seen the damn movies too, so I mean, it's not that I mean, obviously, I remembered some of it. Team Edward and the other Stuart.
It's one of those things that even if you don't see it, it's kind of
It was really that one was kind of drilled into almost everybody's head.
Yeah, it was. It's seeped into the culture so much. It's
like ridiculous.
Oh, she made a fortune. That whoever I can't remember what the author. She made a fortune. Now, another thing I like about Picard.
Yeah, I'm not really that much of a pop culture kind of guy or whatever. Anything that has to do with pop culture, it's not really my forte. Really kind of.
Yeah, it's what I eat, breathe, and stuff. Let me show you this real quick. The thing I liked about
commentary, but anything else.
They're showing you parts of Earth. This is Los Angeles in the 25th century. Looks a lot cleaner, don't it? Hopefully not as
doubt that it would actually even come close to that.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody on the ground and digging around for doing needles.
I'm actually surprised that they use this because it was already canonized that Los Angeles and a lot of the West Coast had fallen into the ocean. Because there was an episode of Voyager back in '97. That's another Star Trek series where they get sitting back to present day. Of course, it's been 20 years since that episode. It was 1997 Los Angeles, and one of the characters explained, all this is coral reef now, and they're standing in the middle of Los Angeles. That's one thing I like about Picard is you're seeing more slice of life Star Trek than military Starfleet Star Trek. Well, it's been an hour. And I haven't eaten yet. So I think thanks for joining me. Thanks for helping me out.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody heard me show myself out at the beginning. That's KOOFROGG. You can find me almost anywhere.
Yes.
When I say almost anywhere, like I'm serious, like almost everywhere you go.
Follow him, y'all. He's a good guy. He's helping me out. Helping
Not
me
all
figure
of
this.
them are the same logo. Some of them are an old logo. I was thinking maybe going back to the old logo. Really, just I'm having because I've only been doing this YouTube thing for I don't even know how long now. It's been since what, November. I think I produced my first one.
Yeah, so you're pretty new at this too.
Right, still brand new,
Yeah,
and
man.
I got like 26 subscribers. I
Hey,
do a thing with my subscribers where if they actually subscribe and come talk to me and tell me that they've actually subscribed, that I will give them Discord links.
yeah, come join the Discord. Y'all, we have fun on it.
Right. We almost more fun on Discord than you do.
Well, you got to be careful now. They just updated their terms of service, and they're getting really
Yes,
strict
they
over there.
sure did. Their terms of service are stupid and ridiculous. That was very upsetting to see.
Yeah, it seems like every platform, except for maybe a couple of not
Um,
going to bitching and
there
not going
was something that a couple of us had. Somebody did some research on a little bit, whatever. We were going to try checking it out at some point in time. I think a couple of them already kind of created accounts and found each other.
yeah.
Really don't know. It's supposed to be some open source. It was called Tox, TOX.
I haven't heard of that one. I've heard of Rumble.
Apparently, it's supposed to be some halfway decent or whatever. I think a bunch of us are going to try creating an account so that we can actually see what it's like. Again, it was an open source, so it was like a whatever, people like Linux based.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like, a lot different than what it is now, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So I'm gonna say see y'all later,
You
and
could maybe possibly check us out tonight, midnight.
yeah, check Cool Frog out. And I might jump on for a little bit with him tonight.
All right. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
This is
The
Outpost.
two of us. We never know.
Yeah. This is Outpost Nerd signing out.
All right.